Hey everybody, it's your girl Bunny. To all of my returning subscribers, hey, how you doing? And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Kick your feet up, subscribe to this family-friendly channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any posts. Also follow me on Instagram at the same profile name so you don't miss the sneak peeks of what's coming up next. In this video, it's Ready to Love Potomac, the reunion special part 1. I give a full episode recap with photos offset to the side, and then I give my review at the end. No need to dig around and keep all of the minute marks in the comments. It's all coming up next. It's the Ready to Love Potomac reunion special part 1. Our host Tommy Miles reminds everyone that we started off with 7 men and 7 women, and then later introduced more men and women, curveballs to the process, blind dates. The power to eliminate shifted back and forth between men and women until only the strongest couples remained. All the singles rejoined Tommy to spill the tea on the hookups, heartache, and the drama. We will also find out the final statuses of our couples right now on Ready to Love. There are behind-the-scenes footage that never aired, as well as some off-camera events. The cast not only has some drama on social media, but the sexual innuendos were surely flowing while filming. Tori indeed was one of the castmates that bragged about being able to touch kidneys, and getting to know the ladies deeper was a repeated statement that he not only said to Joy, but Precious as well. Wiley also tells Ace that he's well endowed. Paul jokes about giving Carmen some of his pickle, which is an initiative to take a bite of his lunch pickle, and Cliff feeds Dakia oysters as she brags about not having a gag reflex. And finally, there are several clips of several cast members being romantically fed. Tommy jokes about the cast almost turning the show into a Ready to Love After Dark special. He wants to know from Carmen, why do you think this cast was so flirtatious? She thinks that it's about chemistry and it's the perfect time to flirt when you're single. Flirting gives a hint of being interested, and if someone takes the hint, things can flow. Tori tries to explain to Tommy about the kidney smasher comments, but Tommy isn't interested. We revisit the additional cast members and the beginning of the blind date process. Carmen, Cornelius, Eric, AP, Tina, and Donovan. When he asked Cornelius about this entire process, Cornelius and Donovan both agreed that the process was fun, yet their excitement brought on some butterflies of being a little nervous. Carmen says that she wasn't nervous, but the first date allowed her to open up and have fun, and not to be afraid of meeting new people. Laverne was great company. Tina says that she enjoyed the blind dates, and the process was a bit tedious. It was a combination of mentally and psychologically being out of whack. She wasn't ready at all, unfortunately. Eric describes his first date as amazing, and he liked what he saw, indicating Dakia, and Dakia starts to blush. She comments that Eric was great and was a perfect gentleman at the time. Tommy notices the awkwardness and promises to revisit certain matters between the two later in the show. Sabrina and Paul described the curveballs as something that was needed but challenging and made you really want to evaluate your true connections. Paul further explains that everyone was considered to be a blind date to him. You can see everybody on the outside, but until you sit down and get to know everyone, I still can't see the real person entirely. Everyone condones his answers with giving poetry finger snaps. During the beach house retreat, a game of truth or dare sets things off. This leads to feelings getting hurt, leaving Tori to wonder if Sabrina bit off more than she could chew. Unseen footage of Wiley being challenged by Sabrina to slow dance with the person he's feeling the most. He does a little slow wind behind the chair of Tina, and everyone is having fun and laughing, so people are getting loose a little bit. Now, the infamous dare. Eric dares Sabrina to nibble on the ear of the person she has the most interest in. Everyone expects Sabrina to go to Tori, but she stops to think about it, sending shockwaves at the table. She goes to Demetrius to nibble on his ear. Tori is so floored that he also says that he's leaving the process. Sabrina explains that everyone assumed the connection she had with Tori and that she was locked in, but she was also connecting with Demetrius. She continues that Tori is very forward in showing his interest, and Demetrius and I were a little bit more discreet. Demetrius even told me he wanted to show me more and that he was interested. I wanted to make sure that I reciprocated what he said, and 15 minutes before the dinner, that happened. The truth or dare game. She thinks that Joy calling out "go get Tori" added insult to injury and creating more of an embarrassment for Tori when I went to go see Demetrius. Joy says that she only went off the assumption due to what Sabrina said in the last ladies' lounge before the beach house. She raved about Tori to everyone. Sabrina claps back that she can't control what people assume. Tori could have gone and done something else as a dare. That's out of my control. And Sabrina was shocked that Joy is defending Tori. Tommy wants to give Tori a chance to describe how he felt in that moment. Tori says that he was shocked and even can hear the cameraman saying in the background, "Oh wow, like dang." He had the confidence that Sabrina would come to him concerning the dare. Everyone was shocked and Joy co-signs that statement. Sabrina continues that she was torn and just went for whatever when it came to the dare. She then quickly had regrets that she did it at all. She should have just tapped out. Demetrius has a chance to chime in and says that he wasn't shocked about what she did, and it was no secret that she was his top pick from day one. It was Sabrina, then Joy. Everyone was always in his ear that Sabrina was digging Tori, but the beach house game was a signal to him that Sabrina was showing more interest. It was the energy and the actions they talked about. Laverne jokes, saying to Tommy that, "See, let's clear the air. It's not my fault." Everyone made their own decisions concerning the truth or dares. While preparing for the next scene, Tina tells a fellow cast member, "I know you don't care, but just to let you know, I blocked you on social media. I blocked everyone. I just disengaged." Up next, we look at the connection between Carmen and Donovan. But first, we look at the reactions from the beginning of some of the fellas when Carmen first arrived. Laverne and Clifton loved her curves, but Cliff wasn't a fan of the blue contacts. He even called her Baby Jesus. When Carmen finally meets Donovan, the first impressions of one another are amazing. The flirting begins and their chemistry was organic. They make each other laugh and are open to taking things to the next level. Donovan updates Tommy that they're enjoying each other's time and growth. They're having fun, making plans, and will evolve as their relationship does the same. Carmen adds that their true connection was easy. She's usually the person to show interest, which makes her out to be the bad girl, but he met her halfway. He always makes her laugh and he gives her butterflies. It seems so genuine that they belonged together. At the beach house, she felt that she got more confirmation that Donovan was even more interested. That caused her to back away from Paul. Paul explains that he was more reserved because he had other connections. He has no regrets because people end up where they're supposed to be. Donovan co-signs that the getaway was a perfect time to confirm connections. Someone's actions helps one to decide how to move forward. When Tina didn't arrive, to him that was a sign that this person wanted to move on, so he's moving forward and not looking in the past. Tommy is happy for them and wishes Carmen and Donovan the best. When Chef Eric arrived, he cooked up a little love triangle. Upon arrival, Dakia had an instant attraction and interest in him. Carmen and Eric flirt, and she also makes it known that she's interested. He tells her that she's truly his top pick. Unfortunately, an off-camera event happened between Dakia and Eric. She explains that Eric touched her in a way that hurt her feelings while taking a photo. From there, Dakia refused on the show to date Eric, but to continue the dating process, while Eric removed himself from the process out of respect for the rest of the cast members. Tommy wants Dakia to elaborate a little bit more about what happened. Dakia says she felt disrespected and it made her feel uncomfortable. His actions were inappropriate. They were all out and they decided to take a picture. He had his arms around her waist and she joked about that this is an old school prom picture pose. Eric then responds saying that, "No, this isn't a prom picture, watch this," and repositions his hands somewhere else. Eric explains that from what they had talked about off camera, sharing kisses and other things, that he thought everything was fine. He had no idea that his actions were bad and that he didn't misread anything. Dakia clarifies that she doesn't think Eric is a bad person, but that he just made a mistake. Maybe there was miscommunication on the access that he thought he had. Eric takes a moment to apologize because he never meant to make anyone feel uncomfortable. Dakia says that she accepts and receives the apology. She just wishes that he had done it sooner. Certain things being said about her went against her character. Eric is confused because he said he never said anything to disrespect her, and Dakia then clarifies, well, things said from your friends and other people online. Eric says that he just wants to focus on him and her in that situation and not what other people were saying, but Dakia continues to cut him off. From there, Eric then has had enough, saying, see, I be trying to be nice and ish. It's very obvious that he's frustrated. Dakia goes on that I'm good with the apology. I just wish it had happened sooner. Eric wants to know, how could I have apologized sooner? I texted you immediately that night apologizing. There's back and forth of Dakia, and she says that she pushed him away, saying, hey, don't touch me like that, and thank goodness other people were around to witness what happened. And Eric defending himself, saying, I didn't mean to disrespect you. He also doesn't want to bring other people into it and create drama. Tommy stops the topic and settles that Eric has apologized several times, and Dakia accepts and receives the apology. Now it's time to move on. Can we agree? And they both agree to move on, and Joy hugs Eric. Moving on to Sabrina. She made several connections, Donovan, Demetrius, and Tori. The fellas get to see the playback of some dates and what was said. It's plain to see that Sabrina had several connections and she couldn't pinpoint which one. Donovan finally sits down with Sabrina to inform that he's moving forward with Carmen. Sabrina says that she's good with that decision, and Carmen backstage notes, yeah, it was best he move on, girl. Sabrina then tells Tori that they are best as friends, while also telling Demetrius there are certain concerns and that she's done with the process. Tommy wants to know, after looking at all of the playback, Sabrina, you had several connections, so let's discuss each one. When it came to Donovan, you and him are newly divorced, and you were ready to move on. What made it difficult for you to believe in saying that he could move on as well? What made you think Donovan wasn't ready? She states that Donovan seemed like he was more concerned with his ranking and getting in where he fit in. This is the same guy that told me that if he were there earlier in the process, he would have dated Joy. Precious and Dakia co-sign him saying that as well. Donovan says, okay, whoa, hey, hold on, Golden Girls, calm down. Precious wasn't even in the process long enough to talk about anything like that. Tommy calms down the situation to step back and just to have a moment for everyone to speak their piece. Tori takes a moment to say that after the beach trip, he could no longer emotionally invest himself in someone that wasn't doing the same. Demetrius also talks about how Sabrina declined to meet his family. Demetrius notes that he's big on family, and when she declined the invitation, he admits it stung. Sabrina says that she chose not to see his family because things were a little rocky between them. He heard information about her and then talked to his mom about it. Meeting his mom afterwards would seem strange. Demetrius clears the air. Donovan came to him man to man and shared that him and Sabrina kissed several times off camera. He wanted Demetrius to know because he wanted to make sure everything was good. Why didn't he hear this information from Sabrina if they were moving forward and being serious? Sabrina painted a picture like they were moving forward and you kissed Donovan? Donovan adds that her actions didn't match up with what she was doing. He didn't feel like he could trust her anymore. Sabrina suggests that Donovan only told Demetrius that to separate them, but Donovan says he only told Demetrius out of respect. Tommy wants to know from Sabrina if she had an opportunity to do things over again, what would she would have done? She says that she would have told Demetrius about the kiss, and it was a good kiss, but it wasn't worth all of the trouble. And Donovan notes, finally, something we agree on. Now we move on to Laverne. Early on in the season, he took credit for being a cool guy and taking command of the room. There are several clips of Laverne saying that he wouldn't even feel intimidated or jealous of Barack Obama if he were in the room. Later, the infamous moment between him and Sabrina concerning the she said between the ladies of voting him out. Laverne explains that he's not a narcissist. He's just confident in everything that he does. God God made everyone the salt and the light of the earth, and he accepts his awesomeness. If others can't do that, that's their problem. Ace takes the time to explain that she left the process after hearing Laverne was eliminated. She felt that she had a true connection with him, and it didn't make sense to stay. Afterwards, they tried to move on and forward and date, but Laverne didn't give her back what she had hoped for, something meaningful. Laverne says that he realized that she blocked him on social media and he was confused. She thought the best way to move on and to move forward was to not continue any communication. When asked if their relationship can be fixed by Tommy, Laverne says that yes, anything can be fixed, but Ace says to be determined. Tommy wants Laverne to clarify what he meant when he said, "Ask Precious," while debating with Sabrina. He said that he heard that Carmen, Tina, and Sabrina were making plans to vote him off. This is what Precious told Ace, and Ace told me. He didn't have anything against Sabrina. He was just passionate in the moment. He also apologized to Sabrina directly afterwards, which Sabrina confirms. He was ready to love and he didn't want anyone else telling him otherwise. Tommy asked Precious, please explain what's going on. Precious says that she told Ace Carmen was plotting, calling Sabrina and Tina to make a decision. Sabrina mentions that she didn't have a connection with Laverne, there wasn't anything romantically there, and Tina never responded. The matter is Laverne flipping the words to make people out as plotting against him. Laverne cuts to the point. Ace told him what you said, and that's a fact. Precious calls him a narcissist and that she's never said that Sabrina was plotting on him or anyone else. Next time on Ready to Love Potomac, the reunion special, part 2. Carmen says Precious called her and Precious says she didn't. Tina says Paul wanted her to self-eliminate herself so they could be together. Joy addresses Dakia, saying she was going to take Cliff away from her and she didn't appreciate that statement. Precious confronts Demetrius about telling the fellas that she would be up in the club every night. Those statements are an attack on her character. Demetrius asks if she's high, and Precious is so upset that she storms off stage, flipping the bird and dropping the F-bomb to Demetrius. And Cliff has a special gift for Joy. And now it is time for your favorite part of the video. That's right, my reviews. So if you've been following my reviews, you guys, you know that this reunion special is not shocking or surprising. Not only did I determine a lot of the connections and the beef, but I also made sure to give a lot of people that messy boots. Now, for those of you who don't know, messy boots is a term in the South when you're being messy, when you kikiing, when you gossiping, spreading all of these rumors, you know what I'm saying? And I said that Sabrina seemed to be very nice, nasty. Early in the season, I couldn't put my finger on it, but I was like, why does it seem as if Sabrina is always trying to psychoanalyze everybody? It's highly likely that she self-sabotages herself in a lot of situations. I don't think that she can make up her mind on what guys that she wants because maybe she's not ready to love. And we see in this first part of the reunion that she's wearing her messy boots well. Boots over here, mud on the wall, mud on the floor, mud everywhere. It seems the underlining thing throughout every big critical situation when it comes to beef or when it comes to she said, he said, right? He said, she said, Sabrina's name always comes up. Now let's talk about one of the things of going back and forth when Laverne was just like, well, you know, Ace told me. Okay, let's confirm some facts here, okay? I'm really big on mystery series and paying attention to the details of what people say. Now, they could confirm she never denied, Precious never denied that she told Ace something, okay? And Ace, without a doubt, continued that information and shared it with Laverne because they was cool. You know, she's like, hey, let me tell you what happened. This is what I think would happen when we come down to it, when it boils down to it. I think that the show told everybody, hey, when it comes to eliminations, when it comes to all of that information, make sure that you only do that in the ladies' lounge or the men's lounge, right? Don't try to talk amongst yourself off camera. And I think that's what happened. The girls got together. They was calling each other, girl, who you voting off next? Oh, I'm gonna vote for Laverne. Oh, I'm gonna vote for this person. And it just took a turn for the worst. I do believe that Carmen and everybody else were calling each other like, girl, I mean, what's the tea? Who you voting for? I don't think it was this, let's come up with a plan to get rid of Laverne, okay? Before Carmen even came into the picture, and after Carmen came into the picture, Laverne was on his way out anyway. The only person he was really connecting with, like for real, was Ace, okay? And Joy had already moved on to Cliff long time ago. So Laverne was on his way out. So I honestly believe that the communication that was happening, it wasn't anything shady or, too wild. It was just a lady saying, hey girl, who you feeling and who you not feeling? And they wasn't feeling Laverne. And Ace got word and said, hey Laverne, they about to vote you off, bruh. So if you get a call to meet up for some dinner or something, that's probably what's going to happen. That's what I think happened. It's not really a big deal. Precious is just, being pushed into the forefront of somebody that gave Ace that information, and maybe it was just a little embarrassing and Precious went off. Now, what makes the situation even worse is that Laverne has his attitude and the way he handles a lot of situations, and he's annoying. Whether you like him or not, he stands firm in what he believes and what he says. He heard something. He was upset and he was like, "Ooh, I can't wait to get up here and tell Sabrina what I know." And he was hot. He handled it wrong. I'm glad that he apologized, but that's what happened. Okay, let's talk about Sabrina and her messy boots again, right? So when she's shown her messy boots so many times throughout this season, you guys, it's ridiculous. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure that you go back a few episodes, a few reviews before this one, and just see what I said. And I predicted it's this early in the season that she was the common denominator in a lot of stuff, because she always had information about what people said. Why are you the gatekeeper of what people are saying? I don't get it. Now, with Sabrina, right, said to Tommy, and she couldn't wait to spill the tea, right? When Sabrina said, oh, well, that's different because, Donovan has said, if he was there early in the process, he would have talked to Joy. Messy boots. So messy, because look, this is pretty much like a game show, but the only, negative downside is that your emotions can have an effect on quote unquote winning or losing when it comes to finding love, right? And I'm pretty sure that Donovan said what he said. But here's the thing, and why it's a messy comment and why you bringing it to the forefront, because he came later in the process. It's something that he probably shared with you in confidence. And man, if I would have came early, I would have talked to Joy. But things ended up changing. He chose Carmen. He's moved on. And now you're upset and bitter about it. Y'all, let me show y'all this photo. This is what regret and if I could turn back time looks like. Paul and Sabrina sitting on that couch looking at this couple, and they like, I shouldn't have showed my butt and behaved and acted a certain way. Dang, they look so happy. Dang. And Sabrina pulled the rabbit out the hat and was like, oh, let me say something that Donovan said. So maybe it'll get Carmen mad. That was the point. That was the reason why she said that. Okay. I mean, you can call it a thing. And some of you may argue that, hey, what's the difference between that and Donovan telling Demetrius that him and her kissed? Here's the difference. With men, it's different. With men, it's this thing of, hey, homie, is that you? For those of you, hey, I grew up in the South. When a man say nothing to another man, hey, dog, is this you? They asking. Like, hey, are y'all talking? I mean, what's good? Because they want to make sure they don't step on any toes. Okay? They want to know what's going on. So if he's late into the process, he has interest in Sabrina. Demetrius has interest in her, blah, blah, blah. He's saying, hey, dude, I'm letting you know, Sabrina telling me certain things. She might be telling you. And hey, did she tell you that we kissed? And I'm feeling Donovan. When you seeing Sabrina talk about, oh, we're working this out with Demetrius and I can't decide, and Tori and you nibbling Demetrius on the ear, that's conflicting information. You're not behaving the way what you're speaking and what you're doing. So hey, bruh, I'm letting you know what's going on, right? Now, if it had been a situation where Demetrius just like, all right, man, thanks for telling me, thanks for looking out. That's why he had a guy reaction. That's why he said if Sabrina had told me, it would have been different. But she didn't. She kept that a secret. Sabrina argues that he said he had sat on this information all that time. And then he gonna say something, girl, you sat on the information too. Now, if you're feeling that way, like Demetrius said, we were moving in a certain direction, and then you kissing people, them things don't go together, right? The math ain't mathing. So, Sabrina, you wearing your messy boots, and it is what it is. I'm pretty sure there was a messiness done by other people. I predicted that about precious, because a lot of the time, instead of really kicking it with the dudes and trying to get information on how the men were feeling, she was wearing some of the boots as well. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure these people are really cool people, right? I don't look at interviews. I don't do interviews. I review the show itself, how people behave on the show. And when the season is done, it's done. I don't go backwards. Okay. So to me, the actions and how people behave, I go off of that. I'm pretty sure everybody in the cast says some messy stuff along the way. Girl, did you hear about this? Girl, did you hear about that? Hey, dog, did you hear about that? Hey, dog, that's just within the sexes of how men talk and how men communicate. A lot of people need to learn not to take things so seriously and be so sensitive about that. Different sexes have certain ways of communicating. And Donovan telling Demetrius, I thought that was normal. You know what I'm saying? I grew up around men, and that's just the norm. That's how they communicate. Hey, dog, this you? Hey, what's going on? Well, she's saying she won't be with you, man. I'm just like, no, we all up in each other's mouths. What's that? Okay. Let's talk about. Oh my goodness. It just baffles me how right I was. Let's talk about Dakia and Eric. So let's just be forthfront, okay? Regardless about what happened in this situation, let me clarify that if anybody feels uncomfortable with being touched a certain way, moving a certain way, or whatever the situation is, that is their right to say, I don't want to be touched in this way. I don't want to be spoken to in this way. I think this is disrespectful. I think this is this, right? Even if things were miscommunicated as far as what Eric thought was okay to do. Okay. That's why I think Dakia was so chill about accepting the apology, because it had it been some stuff that was like for real, a situation, right? It would have been completely different. She's saying that it's cool. She just wanted an apology. She wanted it sooner. Okay, they agreed to both move on. I know they're both tired of the situation. This is what I honestly think, and I've been saying this from the jump, that this is a mistake on all parts of production. I've said over and over again, when there's too many events off camera, we don't get to see the for real of what happened. It's still he say, she say. Even with Paul saying, yeah, that's what she said. She said, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Body language says a lot. If you paid attention to a lot of the other castmates when she's describing the story, they kind of looking like, ooh, well, that ain't really how it happened to Kia. They kind of got that look on their face like, yeah, because trust and believe, had it been some stuff that was off the wall, all of the women would have been all on Eric like, that ain't right. It would have been a dang waiting to exhale moment. It would have been all the women on one dude. Okay. So I really think that there's a lot of stuff when it comes to what really happened and how maybe publicly people perceived it, and maybe the kid thought there was something going on that she wanted to keep discreet. I don't know. All I'm going off of is the show. All I'm going off of is what we've been able to see. So production needs to realize that everything needs to be on camera. When things aren't on camera, whether it was 3 people there, 2 people there, the whole cast or whatever, it's still he say, she say until we see it on film. As point blank, period. And I'm glad that they were able to move on. He apologized. They gonna, agree to disagree. It is what it is. I think it was just a bad situation that anybody was disrespected or anybody felt disrespected. He apologized, and even just because somebody apologizes doesn't mean that that takes the hurt away or maybe how she felt. So I 100% respect somebody's feelings and how they feel and how things are going, and I get that. Okay, so everybody needs to understand that people are going to say stuff in these type of shows that, oh man, you see such and such, and then at the end of the process, they talking to somebody else. That could probably happen because they get to know the real you. They get to see a little bit more of your character. It is what it is. Can we please talk about how pretty much, I'm going to have to really break down everything at the end of part 2, just to tie in a bow perfectly everything I've been saying this entire time. This review won't be that long because it's kind of like I said, those of you who follow me, it's everything that's happened that I predicted has happened, and all we're doing now at this point is getting receipts. Also to production, okay? Please, if you see this happen, please remember that your girl been saying this for I don't know how many seasons in a row. The show not only needs to have everybody in the same area where filming, you can film as much as possible with cameras everywhere. And even with cameras everywhere, you will miss some stuff, but not as much stuff as we've been missing in all these seasons. When we get the juice and the crust of a lot of the stuff that happens, it's when they have those getaways and they all stay together. When they have these little setup dates to the side and they talking or whatever, we only see snippets of the date, snippets of personalities, snippets. But we're in situations where they go on a retreat. That's when a lot of the personalities come out. That's when people get lax. That's how you can see how people eat. That's how you can see how people communicate, who's gonna get jealous, that's what you need to do. Put everybody in a mansion. Quit trying to pay all these people and get the filming rights from all these different restaurants. We don't care. Okay, have them all in one house. If they want to go on dates, then that's when they leave the house to go on dates, and even the cameras follow them as well. That will be entertaining. Also, Discovery Plus and OWN Network, all cast members need to sign NDAs as soon as they are approved to be on the show. What that will do is that will eliminate them doing interviews, that will eliminate them saying or doing certain things on live, because what that does is that diminishes the whole experience of the show. The surprise and all of the shockers should be saved for the reunion. The reunion specials are the crescendo of the season. They're the crescendo of, oh, is this right? Is this right? Who was with who? So much is given away about who's talking to each other, who's going on trips with each other, who's going on, too much is exposed to where the excitement, when it gets to the reunion, at this point, nobody cares because we found out all of the information. The show will be so much more interesting if they sign NDAs and also them working on other projects, right? That do not correlate with the network, that do not correlate with what the show is trying to do, which is love. You do have people that are opportunists, unfortunately, as we've seen in several other seasons, and I don't blame them. If you're on a platform that's going to be seen by millions of people, what better commercial for yourself than to go on there, right? So if it's people that's on there that's really ready to love, and I think that's why what made this season different from the others is because we had less actors, right? We had more people that were really ready to love. Now we did have, hey, that's TV. TV going TV. I've been saying this forever. Why are people so shocked that a lot of the cast members know a lot of people of production, or they're in the same fraternities, or they're in entertainment industry is who you know, okay? It's who you know. When casting directors need to cast, they're going to call people, hey, do you know this person? What do you think about this person? Because they need to hurry up and book as soon as possible. And I don't have a year to sit there and twiddle their thumbs and interview people, 10,000 people. It's just not enough time, especially what happened with the pandemic. They needed to film ASAP, okay? So with this next season, I hope they do something tropical. I hope they put them on a beach somewhere. And hey, it is what it is. And if it happens, I am taking full credit for this idea because I've been saying this forever. Also, something else, y'all, that I saw when they were showing the preview for next week and Precious stormed off the stage. I saw Tommy take that look and was like, okay, well, damn, look at that ham. Tommy got his little peak on. When Precious stormed off the stage, I'm sorry, I saw that. That just made me chuckle. Okay, it was like Tommy couldn't even hide looking. He was just like, I'm gonna go ahead and look. And production, no, they wrong because they could have edited that out. They didn't have to zoom in on Tommy's face like that. Tommy said, "Damn, look at the ham, look at that ham." Tommy, it's okay. You a man. It's all right. Get your look on. Everybody, get your look on. Everybody, get your look on. Everybody, every Tommy, get your look on. What? Okay, let me let that go. Tommy, I see you, bruh. But yeah. Let me know what you thought about this reunion special. I'll see you for part 2. Make sure to check out Atlanta season 3, the Emmy award-winning show. This show is absolutely amazing. Make sure that you binge watch that. That link will be in the description if you haven't checked it out, and I'll also put it in the comment section just to throw that out there, just to let you know, hey, if you can't find it, here it is. But make sure you check it out. Very thought-provoking, beautiful, well-written. The cinematography is amazing. Check that out. Atlanta season 3. Binge watch watch that. Check out those reviews. And also Inventing Anna, the Netflix original series, is coming up. There's so much editing in this, y'all. It's ridiculous. But when Inventing Anna drops on the channel, you'll be able to binge watch that. In the meantime, in between time, remember to take care of yourself and each other. Bye.